Hello, beautiful Globetrotters. I'm so excited.
Hi everyone.
Hello, there's
To
Tiff
see you all.
from our Shoalhaven adventure, our Shoalhaven ride, and we've got the beautiful Eloise that has done our Shoalhaven ride. I wanted just to jump in and speak to you about this incredibly special ride that we have had on our books. How long have we had you, Tiff? Like, when was our launch season?
It was September last year, so September 2020.
Can you believe you launched your ride in COVID?
Yes.
And look at you, like you're still smiling.
Yeah, and we did like, I think 10 rides almost back to back.
Amazing. And sell out departures as well, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Tiff Gale. She's our ride host and guide of our Shoalhaven ride. And then we've got Eloise that did the ride in June, like literally this June, just gone. We're wanting anyone that's literally sitting on the fence with our Shoalhaven ride. This will be a fantastic conversation, so you get to know what type of rider thrives on this departure, the type of horses, which is a huge part of this ride, the accommodation and the type of scenery that you'll be riding in, which I love. This is also for our beautiful Globetrotters that are booked on this ride and are wanting to, know more about the information, how to prepare and what to expect on day one of the Shoalhaven ride. So, Tiff, what was the main sort of philosophy in setting up the Shoalhaven ride? Like in brief, what was your journey from pretty much, weren't you a fashion designer to being, an amazing ride guide and host and running your own ride?
Yeah, so I was made redundant in November 2016, and I had the Tassie Tiger ride booked, I think the July just before I got made redundant, and then I went on the Tassie Tiger ride in February of 2018, and within 20 minutes of being on that ride, I was just like, oh my God, this is what I want to do. But it felt like such a pipe dream, like I needed to win the lotto because I didn't have the property, didn't have the horses. I lived in Bondi Junction in Sydney. Amazing. So, it just felt like that. Anyway, a few quick... a lot of thinking about it and
lots of emails between us too. I remember.
I asked you, this is something that you'd be willing to do or on board for. And luckily, I think the best sentence anyone said to me on the Tassie Tiger ride was, Kate is looking for a outfitter in New South Wales. You didn't currently have one. So that really stuck in my mind. So anyway, then long story short, it all kind of came together. I sold my property in Bondi Junction and then, and then found a purpose-built property with 5 days of rides from the property, which is amazing. And it's just such a beautiful place down here. We've got, beautiful wineries and farms and gorgeous scenery, bush, and then we've got the ocean as well. So it's kind of my favourite place in the world because it's where the bush and the farmland meets the ocean. And I just feel like I've lived close to the beach most of my life. So to bring them all together and not be that far from the ocean is just amazing. So
I think that's exactly. And is that what spoke to you, Eloise? Because are you based in Sydney?
Yeah, no, I am based in Sydney. So I was quite attracted to the ride initially because it was in New South Wales, and with COVID and everything, it was kind of like, this is something that could actually happen if I book it. But what really, I guess, was a really pleasant surprise for me as well is I've actually been to kind of the Mollymook area quite a bit because my family kind of really loves that area. And then doing Tiff's ride, there were all these kind of places in, sort of an hour away from there in the Shoalhaven region that I hadn't even discovered or didn't even know existed. So it was kind of nice to have my eyes open to that as well, because I it kind of feels like it's sort of on my doorstep, this whole area that I'm like, why haven't I been there before? And been to some of those wineries before as well in particular.
That's so true, and that's the silver linings with COVID. If we have been restricted to travelling with our own backyard, that you can get out of the city, be on a horse within are you guys 2 hours from Sydney?
2 hours.
And literally be immersed in bush, completely away from the outside world when it's just going manic. And you can you did the 5 day too, didn't you, Eloise?
I actually did the 3 day, but I did, once I got there, I had a bit of FOMO for the 5 day one.
Don't worry, the 5 day you can go back to, but that's what I love also for our Globetrotters is the choice of the 2 night, 3 day and the 5 day, 4 night, because you can literally, which you probably did, you're in the saddle on Friday, aren't you? And then you could be back at work on Monday. Does that work?
Yes, although I think we left the Saturday and then
got
back the Monday afternoon.
Friday get back Sunday, or Saturday, get back Monday. So we
which
set
is
it
really
up a bit.
flexible.
Yeah.
So that you're not having to hassle, for long-term leave. The other wonderful thing that I think really sets you apart, Tiff, there's a couple, but your horses. So tell me about the philosophy behind your horses, which is, truly beating harder this ride. And I've ridden them and they're amazing. And Eloise, who did you ride when you were on the 3-day ride?
I rode Flick.
Oh,
yeah. So
I had a great time with Flick.
Yeah, it was very, very pretty horse.
I rode Shiloh, I'm pretty sure. Was it Shiloh?
Yeah.
And that's also, they're all crowd favourites, but why, Tiff? How did your herd come together?
So my philosophy behind the horses was to have, very willing, beautiful souls. So the energy that they have is just absolutely amazing. I really wanted to make sure that I had horses with personality as well. Coming from, being on going to trail rides all over the place. Just when you ride a horse that's a little bit shut down, I don't feel good coming off that horse after a couple of hours. So I think that's the clinch of these guys, is that they've got personalities, and most people come off the horses going, they really enjoy what they're doing. Their ears are pricked forward, they're looking at the environment, they're really involved in what they're doing. They've got personalities, so they're all completely different. We've got a horse for everyone, and they're just they're just so amazing. And we ride them all bitless as well, which is great for our guests, because most people haven't ridden bitless before. And that just creates a beautiful softness between rider and the horse. And then it's all about, the way when we ride, as Eloise can probably point out, I'm talking about the horses all the time and the way we ride them, and just, your energy and their energy, and just bringing that all together.
It gives me goosebumps, and it's so true. And it can sound all woo-woo, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, it's a really wonderful foundation part of your ride, and it's so true, and there's just sometimes those energies just hit it off really well, and it seems you're very intuitive in matching rider to horse. How you do it, I don't know, but your horses also, love their work, which I also love, and I love that. People are going into your ride with an open mind that, they haven't ridden bitless, but bitless is, you just have as much control if you had a bit in the mouth, if not more, and that you hold people's hand, because you do the groundwork, don't you, before people even jump on their horse.
For sure.
It's a really important part of making sure that connection, because it's a lot to ask of a Globetrotter, to jump on a horse they don't know.
And some people are a little bit nervous, and then, I always, outline, has anyone ridden bitless before? And I basically say it's pretty much the same. You don't have to, do anything different or special. But it's just, you've got more of a feel with the horses. And I find that when we put them into bitless, because all of them came bitted, and I've, trained them into bitless, when you give them that trust, the horse, they'll give it back tenfold. And that's what I love about it. It's just, you create that softness with them, and they're soft back.
Absolutely.
And that's just, it just makes a huge difference.
100%. And so the other wonderful point about this ride is you only take 4 guests, which is the only one in Australia, if not the world, really, that is such a boutique ride, which I feel is really incredible for the price point. So people get their own room, which is included in the price as well, which I love. And so there's 2 types of accommodation. Talk me through that, Tiff.
Yeah, sure. So we've got the farmhouse. So that's the family farmhouse. So we've got 2 beautiful guest rooms there with a shared bathroom, and that's at one end of the farmhouse. And then we've got the guest, or it's kind of like a pool house. So it's literally like next door to the farmhouse. And there's 2 bedrooms there that overlooks the pool area.
So good.
So we normally put, if we've got a couple of friends and then a couple of single people, so we'll put the friends out in the guest room, guest house. So then they've got, their own little space, and, can kind of hang out in that space as well. I think, Eloise and her friend Ellie were out there.
That's so good.
They've got their own little kitchen and lounge area.
What were your first impressions, Eloise, when you got there, bedraggled from Sydney?
Well, we thought the property was so beautiful, because you kind of come up the drive and then you kind of instantly see all the horses on the right, and it's a very because I don't know, when you're booking a ride, we were kind of more focused on looking at the itinerary and the horses, and we didn't really pay much attention to kind of what the accommodation was going to be like. So we kind of were pretty going to be happy with anything. And then we kind of rocked up and it was really beautiful. And we were in the guest house. And so we kind of walk in and it was this beautiful little area. And there was a lovely jar of cookies on the in the kitchen. I think we ate them like basically in the first 2 days. We were like, oh, we won't get through all of those. And then I think there was, it was really lovely. It felt like it was kind of just like quite luxury accommodation, which it was a nice surprise, because it's typically when you're thinking of doing horse riding trips, like you don't really, you're kind of in the bush, you're sort of kind of expecting more kind of basic stuff. And then it was really nice kind of at the end of the day, because I was there with a girlfriend and we had another friend who unfortunately had some work commitments come up, so she could only come on one day. But then it was nice the day that we were all there, we're kind of all hanging out there and having some wine and stuff and catching up. So it was really nice. It
is really nice to, after your saddle, and some people's bottoms are sore, it's nice to be able to go back to accommodation that's really nice. And Tiff, your parents are heavily involved in this itinerary, which I think is also beautiful, because I feel like generational or family rides just make, you feel as if you're really welcomed into something bigger, and that your mum cooks and that your dad keeps the property in such pristine condition. Like there was never a leaf out of place. Payne Hill is, as it's said, it is really nice. So we try and keep our guests' expectations low, so when they get there, it's a full-on surprise. And for any of our foodies, which, I mean, who isn't a foodie nowadays, but the food on site, and when you go to like, is it Silo Estate and places like that, is just amazing, isn't it? Like you've literally picked the eyes out of the best food, probably because you researched it all, but the best food and wine in that area, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like it was a very hard job trying to find all these amazing little places and little spots. But my philosophy is you can have an amazing horse riding trip, but why can't you have the finer things in life as well? You can't be on the horse 24/7. So when we hop off the horse, we, there's always a champagne or a glass of wine and some cheese. So good. I think we have cheese almost every day, don't we?
Yes.
And then, we, match it with beautiful, beautiful produce from beautiful wineries and restaurants that use native ingredients. A lot of the wineries grow their own fruit and vegetables. So it's just beautiful. And you can just taste it in the food. It's just amazing.
It's so good. And that's, I think, Eloise, I mean, one of my highlights when I road tested, but tell me what you thought when you did your ride and then you go out onto the rock, and without spoiler alert, we'll have to spoiler alert, amazing high tea that Lorraine makes and the Prosecco scones and things like that. Did you just go, what the? Really?
Oh, yeah. It was really funny because I remember when we were riding up to it, we kind of stopped at this earlier point, and I knew there was sort of a lookout point that we were going to have high tea on, and Tiff got a photo of us, and I was going, oh wow, like this is so beautiful. She goes, oh no, this isn't it, like it's like we're still going, and I was like, oh, and I'm like, oh, I don't know how you can top this sort of thing, like this view. And then when we kind of get there, and then her lovely parents had set up this amazing high tea, and it was just incredible. And for me, because obviously I did the 3-day trip, so it was kind of like a weekend break from work sort of thing, and it kind of was the moment that I felt like, oh, I'm probably on holidays now, and you're like, oh, I'm out of the city and it's all happening. And I remember because I'm a bit addicted to my phone and social media and all of that, and I put up some photos of it, and I had so many people messaging me. Everyone's going, where have you gone for this high tea? Like, how did you get there? Yeah. And one of my mum's friends, I think, called Tiff while we were on the ride. Like, she found out the place, and she's called, going, how do I do the high tea? Yeah. It was quite funny.
It was awesome.
Lorraine's Prosecco scones went viral in an instant.
They did.
It was beautiful, and it was quite nice as well to kind of to have a little stretch, and because I try and ride as much as I can, but you don't really get the chance to do it all that often, so I wasn't that saddle fit, so it's kind of nice to have a bit of a break from the riding and help me not be too sore at the end of the day.
Your bottom's young, so I'm sure your bottom would have, been fine. But the other wonderful thing also, I think, again, is this ride is specific, as Tiff did, intermediate to advanced riders. So, where there's an opportunity to really, be able to have those trots and canters and, not have to sort of nurse the beginner riders as much. You must love that, Eloise, and Tiff, you must also love that is, what type of rider thrives on, I guess, this departure as well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that aspect, and it was quite interesting because So I went with a good friend of mine, Ellie, who's like probably a better rider than me. She kind of does lessons quite regularly, whereas I kind of just try and, get on the horse as much as I can. But, I'm a bit more of a nervous rider than her. And so it was quite nice that when, particularly on the third day when we're kind of going for a canter, Ellie was sort of, up the front having a good canter, and I'm kind of a bit more nervous. Like I enjoy it, but I don't like being the kind of front horse because I think I've had instances where I've kind of bolted off on a horse and freaked out. And so then it was really nice because then I was able to kind of just park behind Tiff and get a nice canter at a pace I was really comfortable with. And while my friend Ellie was still able to go up the front and kind of go gun ho as well, like she was looking forward to. So it was nice that it was kind of both our levels were catered to quite well, and we both got to have a really enjoyable ride.
That's so good.
Yeah, and get some trots and canters which was good. But yeah, I realised how unfit I was as well doing some of the trotting. You're like, oh God, get more cardio into me.
I know. But also for those that are looking at booking this ride, and are so when we say intermediate rider, it's actually probably perfect. You are that, Eloise, is in you can walk, trot and canter in open terrain, but you're not riding regularly. So it's more a riding fitness thing. You got people that are listening can still do this ride. Yes, it would be great if you could train for it, before departure, especially maybe more the 5-day. But also I think it's important for people not to feel guilty if they don't do that they will eventually get their confidence like you do as the ride progresses. Do you see that, Tiff?
Yeah, absolutely. We're working everyone out on the first day. So we do, like trots and canters and stuff, but we really, as the rides build over the days, we kind of get into it more and more and more. And it comes down to being confident on your horse. Once you know how to ride that particular horse, then your confidence just grows and grows and grows. We don't want to ever put anyone over their threshold, but we want everyone to be able to enjoy it and have a thrill, not like, oh God, that was too much. So, it's definitely something that we take into consideration all the time. Me and my second guide Bernie are obviously constantly doing that, and we always break it down and we ask everyone, how was that, and was there anything else, and and then we can split the group really easily. So we make sure that everyone gets the ride that they've come for. So if you are an advanced rider, sometimes we'll go, you guys just go off and you can curl up there if you want, because you haven't seen the best of these horses yet, and you can enjoy it and go for it. And then we make sure, people that are a little bit nervous and things like that, we just, split the group. That's a big reason why I've got 2 guides, myself and Bernie. So then we can easily just, split the group and make sure everyone gets the ride they've come for.
It's absolutely perfect. And as you said, the good thing about this Shoalhaven region, as you say, you have the best of the bush and then you have the best of the beach. So, one of the main highlights of this itinerary is the 7 Mile Beach ride. So talk me through that, Tiff, and what people should expect. And it's a famous beach, right? Like people give their eye teeth to ride on this beach. And
absolutely. Yeah, we're incredibly lucky to have a beach like 30 minutes away to ride on. It's probably the only one and just out of Sydney. So, you've got all that coast and then we can go ride on that one. So we ride different horses on that day. So we use the riding school down there. Yeah. So the reason why we do that is my friend got me a gift voucher many years ago at that riding school for a beach ride. And I was on a big heavy horse. It was a big Clardy Cross. And we got, we trotted along and then we got into a canter and it was just so beautiful. When you've got your horse going nicely and it's doesn't feel like it's going to slow down, doesn't feel like it's going to race. Yeah. And then I could actually go, oh, okay, so the horse is sorted. And I could actually then look out and enjoy the ocean and go, I can't believe. And I have that moment of I'm here doing this right here, right now. And just take it all in instead of like, oh, what's his horse doing, Yeah. And I just wanted my guests to have that feeling in that moment. Yes. So because those horses, on the beach doing that all the time.
Exactly. They're used to it. Yeah.
They're used to it. And they really enjoy it. And it's amazing. So we go for some beautiful long trots and long canters on the beach as well. So, and it's like you said, it's a bucket list item. I mean, there's nothing better than cantering on the beach on an amazing horse that's calm.
Absolutely.
I think it's probably the best thing ever. So, it's amazing. You got all this wide space. You can really open your horse up if you like, and
Did you love it, Eloise?
Oh yeah, look, it was definitely a highlight. And also we were kind of like, because we went in June, but we had the most incredible weather that weekend as well. So like, you know, I made the mistake of wearing a long sleeve shirt, but like, you know, could have easily been in a t-shirt kind of doing that. I had a gorgeous horse who kind of was a bit like kind of big golden retriever, and I felt so comfortable on him. Yeah. And it was really nice for me, because I guess I was also a bit nervous going into the beach ride, because I was like, oh, like, you know, there's a few more kind of factors here that, you know, I don't have as much control over. And so it was nice. I think there were 4 of us, but it felt like we kind of had almost like 4 guides basically
really nice.
with us as well. So it was kind of, everyone was kind of paired up a bit. And so it was kind of, it made me really comfortable to just kind of be able to let go and sort of enjoy it as well. And Tiff got some great videos of us as well, which, you know, it is nice when you look back on it.
Absolutely. And then from that day, you pretty much get to tour and go into wineries and things like that, don't you?
Yes, we get to see a little bit of the Shoalhaven, because we're, you know, mostly at my place doing the bush. So we get to tour around, and we get to go to a few wineries. We have some beautiful 2-course lunches. We go into Berry, which is a beautiful little
Berry.
Yeah, great little gorgeous country town with beautiful. Often there's live music on and lots of people around, and it's beautiful, beautiful homewares and a lot of luxury stores. And then we go get some hot donuts, which is a highlight as well. So
we've got another one on my way home, you know.
So that's gorgeous. And it gives everyone also a chance just to actually relax and tour around and be driven around, and we just basically eat our way around the Shoalhaven. And if you're a little bit sore from the day before, it's just a nice, you know, we go have a really amazing thrill on the beach, and then we get to debrief about it afterwards with a glass of wine, which is just amazing. So it's just great. And then we're on the horses the next day for 6 hours. So for people that aren't that rider fit, it's actually a good day just to, get our ride in and have an amazing time, but then, get off the horse and relax and go see the Shoalhaven.
And that's what's so nice about that is also the off the horse and the on the horse comforts are just perfectly married. But that, and I guess this is where we can sort of segue into the type of rider, which I was going to ask Eloise, but it is that intermediate to advanced rider like Eloise that may have not been in the saddle for ages that can still very comfortably and confidently book on a ride like this, knowing that, you've also got massage therapists that will come and do a massage, which I love as well. And that you can return to the saddle quite easily on your rides, Tiff, which is awesome. Eloise, is there anything on the packing list or anything that you would tell someone who's listening to this that are on the edge, advice on, about booking this ride?
Well, for someone like me who doesn't ride that regularly, I planned I did a sort of a 2-hour trail ride the week before, and I kind of tried to do a couple more sort of trails than I usually would do in the lead up to it, just because I didn't want to kind of be a bit sore and have that deflect from the trip as well. So I think that really helped me as well. And even just kind of getting my confidence back a bit to kind of, because it's kind of a bit like hopping back on a bike. You kind of just need to get a bit more, you activate your muscle memory and stuff a bit. So I think that really helped me as well to kind of be able to kind of just go in really strong from day one and be able to get the most out of it. But in terms of the packing list, the one thing I probably didn't realize as much, because I think as well, I was also very focused on, I guess, the horse itinerary as opposed to the off-horse activities, is that like, all the wineries and everything you go to actually, like, they're quite nice, and I probably would have bought like some cuter outfits and maybe like different shoes if I'd kind of focused on that a bit more, because
absolutely. That's actually a really good tip, because a lot of our places, a lot of our other itineraries, it's just pub wear, but actually your, silo in those places are quite nice. I mean, there's lipstick does wonders, but it is probably nice to feel a little bit, rather than going in your riding pants from that day. So that's actually a really good tip. And we probably should update our packing list on that as well.
But I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that really maybe I would have done differently. Like, I think that we actually just had such incredible weather, so it's kind of like I brought all these layers that I didn't really need, but I guess that kind of would depend time to time.
Absolutely.
But aside from that, I think I felt like quite prepared going in otherwise, just from all the information that I got from you guys. but yeah, it was such an incredible experience, and kind of it was so scenic and beautiful. It didn't feel like you were kind of just, you know, going up and down the same trail every day. So it kind of had such variety. So it was a really lovely break. And like I said, I put up a bunch of photos, and I've had all my friends going, "What did you do?" And like all the people who kind of don't really horse riding, they're like, "How do you do this?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry." Even my mum, she wants to come and she wants to do one of the beginner trails at the riding school near the beach, and then go and do the winery and kind of try and
that's a good idea.
Yeah,
your own sort of I mean, and that's the thing is we as riders, we are very lucky to be able to get exclusive access into these places. That also, if you're a walker, it's not the same, because if you're walking, you have to watch where your feet are going. But when you're on a horse, you can really, as Tiff says, you can really take in the landscape. And I think, you know, with what we call a lodge-based ride, which is this, Tiff, you've been very clever in doing that cloverleaf to get the best within your own backyard, and then knowing that, you know, you don't want people to repeat trails. So then putting in that beach ride was just, you know, perfect to be able to get that diversity, because that's what we look for is foundationally epic horses, which you have, and that are naturally trained, phenomenal accommodation and food, and then really good change of scenery. And I think, you know, and to do that with only 4 guests, your own room, like it's a no-brainer. You know, 2 hours from Sydney. The 5-day, 4-night ride's only 3,500, and then your 3-day, 2-night is only 1,800. So just Globetrotters listening to this, there's still availability for TIFF season next year. It's sold out for this season, sorry. But, you know, that's testament. TIFF's first season, you know, coming is already sold out. And that's literally based on word of mouth, like Eloise and other clients that have just been, shouting it loud on their socials about how epic this ride is. So,
I remember when we were trying to book it, when we were talking, because I think it was kind of like end of last year, we were going, let's try this date in like March. And then we were trying to get a bunch of girls together. And then like 2 days later, March was sold out. And then we're like, then April. And then it was like, and then we got in just like literally the last kind of
ride. Absolutely. And that's the thing is, I mean, with our Australian market at the moment, we're all, you know, obviously traveling within, you know, our sort of radius. Now is the time to do these rides. And I think they're a really great joy. And they're, Eloise, you would probably say this, they're a really good reset, so that when you go back to work where it's busy, you feel as if you've renewed again, and that you can sort of, you know, start the slate clean again.
Yeah, no, 100%. I felt so relaxed. Actually, I thought of my one regret was on the 3rd day. I felt like I had this really nice connection with Flick, the horse, and I was kind of like riding so much better. And that was when I was like, I wish I'd done the 5-day, because I was like, that would be amazing to kind of get, you know, keep building on that. And then by day 5, it probably would have felt incredible.
And and on day 5, we go for a bell. We go down a mountain, and then we turn around and we just smash it back up. If you like, it's not for everyone. And then, but I find that because you've been on that horse, and that's, you know, the 4th or 5th time on the horse, you just like, all right, I know this horse, I'm confident, let's just go. And you can get out of the saddle and just really go for it. And it's just such an amazing thrill. But you probably couldn't have done that on the first day on that horse, you know. It's just, that's why I said we build and we build and we build, and then everyone's confidence just gets better and better and better, and then we go for it and have the best fun.
And that's the beauty of a 5-day ride for all of our Globetrotters, is that immersive experience. Is someone like Eloise that you saying that you're an intermediate rider, you would by 5 days be able to very firmly say you're a strong intermediate rider. So, you know, rather than doing ad hoc trail rides, which I know the life-work balance is hard, but ad hoc trail rides or lessons, if you commit to a 5-day ride, you, as Tiff's agreeing, you become that strong intermediate rider, because you really have that deep time in that saddle to really perfect your 2-point canters and, you know, and lean on your guides to give you advice. You really leave that ride becoming a strong, jumping up a scale in your riding ability, which I think is awesome.
And I will say we're very, very conscious of everyone's bodies. So we're always asking, how's the legs, how's the knees? So we usually get off the horse probably at least every 2.5 hours. Even on the river ride, it's a 6-hour ride. On the way back, most often than not, I'm like, let's jump off the horses and let's walk for 3 minutes, and it just makes a massive difference to your knees and your legs and things like that. So we're managing people's bodies as well as their minds the whole time. So because some people might think, I can't do the 5 days because of I'm not rider fit, but we make sure that everyone's able to get through it because we do a lot of trotting, and you need your knees and your ankles for that. So it's very important.
And then that means that you can eat extra scones because you've actually done some walking.
And I will say you definitely need stretchy pants for the last day. And the horses could definitely feel the extra weight after eating so much.
Absolutely. You're a gift, Tiff. Thank you for the ride, and all the guests like Eloise in making their time so special. We'll wrap it up, but so anyone looking at the Shoalhaven ride, literally as Eloise says, you need to book it because boom, the seats go very quickly. Speak to Laura and we'll see you soon. Lots of love.
Bye. See you soon.
Great. Bye. Good to see you guys.